Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Everybody, the old captain here. Go to assholeconsulting.com if you have questions. Mr. Clary, I respectfully request for you to make a video and impart your wisdom on my current situation. I essentially have two questions for you. I always want to be a high school history teacher. After getting my worthless history degree in 2013, however, I figured that there's more to life than just being a teacher, so I decided to spend 6 months preparing myself to join the Navy as an officer. Unfortunately, my score on the officer aptitude rating was so low, the best thing I could do was to join the Navy as an enlisted sailor. In June 2014, I took the ASVAB, scored a 75, and landed a job as a Marine machinist mate. In October of 2014, I shipped off to Great Lakes. Oh, good. To summarize my boot camp experience, Edward Snowden is right. You can't hide information from the government. On week 3, day 4, I was questioned by a Navy doctor. It turns out that while I was awaiting my ship out date to Great Lakes, the government agency was looking through my background since my job as a submarine machinist mate requires a security clearance. The agency reported that I had asthma when I was a child. However, when I was at MEPS, I never mentioned to the doctors that I had asthma. On week 5, day 1, I was separated from my division. The doctor received orders from Washington, D.C. to send me back home with an RE8 reenlistment code that states that if I decide to return to the Navy, then I would have to wait 3 years, have my civilian doctor complete a waiver to clear my asthma, and finally get the approval of the recruiters who deal with those who want to rejoin the military. Holy Christ. When I came home in November of 2014, I went back towards my goal of being a high school teacher. At the same time, I talked to my recruiter about what happened and asked him if there's any way I can get back into the Navy a lot sooner than waiting until November of 2017. Also, I talked to my civilian doctor about what happened, and since then I've been undergoing several chest x-rays and pulmonary function tests to get a waiver for my asthma. Right now I'm doing my last quarter of the single subject credential program, and if everything goes well, then I'll receive my teaching credential. Lately, however, I've been having thoughts about whether I should become a high school history teacher or return to the Navy. I've talked to my family, really close friends, veterans I know, and several old people in my community to impart their wisdom on my current situation. In all these groups, there are two main responses people tell me. The only one who's living my life is myself, and I have to do what makes me happy. Being a teacher or being a Navy sailor, age is a huge factor. School districts prefer hiring young teachers than older ones. I'll be 26 this June, so that puts me on the age sweet spot as a teacher. In regards to the Navy, the age limit caps at 34. If I decide to be a high school history teacher, then I have to live with the fact that in this life I wasn't meant to be in the Navy. If I decide to rejoin the Navy, then pretty much I've completely wasted my time in the credential program. I understand that even with my worthless history degree, I can still become an officer later down the road. But with my teaching credential, it'll be completely worthless unless the Navy would offer me an instructor job just like the petty officers and chiefs at boot camp, or allow me to teach military brats at the academies. Also, in choosing the Navy, I might as well make it a career knowing that I'll be too old by school district age standards. I might as well make it a career. No, you can get back and teach any time, dude, okay? The worst thing that could possibly happen to me when I come back to being a teacher after serving in the Navy is being asked by the school district to redo the entire credential program. Yeah, well, that's what sucks for having to... That's what teachers got to do. You got to go get... It's not just a bachelor's degree. You got to go and get your master's degree because you're not smart enough to teach. At that moment, I'm thinking about getting my teacher credential and teach high school history for a couple of years before kicking the bucket and returning back to the Navy just before I hit 34. However, this is all based on the assumption that my asthma... Dude, you cannot be an officer if it's taking you this long to get to your fucking... I know, you're hyper-analyzing every possible permutation of this. Assumption of the asthma weight, da-da-da. My first question, see, now we're at the first question, is what's your take on my situation? Should I be like my mom and continue the family trait of being a teacher? Or should I be like my dad and continue the family tradition of being a Navy sailor? Dude, I disagree with your presumption that you'll be too old to go back into the school. And on top of it, we need more people who have real-world experience teaching kids, okay? Not these fucking faggots. They're graduating from college. They're 23 years old. They get their wet behind the ears kid. And they come out and they think, we need older, more experienced, real world private sector, even though it's not private sector for the Navy. We need real men, especially men, in education. So it is not if or. It can be and. I would, in the meantime, until 2017, that's when you could go back in. Right now, until the Navy says yes, by default, you have to go and become the teacher. So you wouldn't be wasting your credential. But I would be trying to apply to get into the Navy in the meantime. So see if you can get a waiver for your asthma. See if you can get in before that 3 years. Otherwise, it's November 2017. It looks like you got yourself a couple of years worth of work in, so you don't go into debt. You make a little bit of money. Plus, I have a feeling you're going to find out you probably don't like teaching. A lot of people find that out. They'd be like running for the military. So that's that. I say you do both. As for my second question, in one of your YouTube videos, you mentioned that you visited Fresno, California. Yeah, where I live, an hour and a half south of Fresno. Have you been to Delano, California, or Bakersfield? I don't think so. In all honesty, I never planned for this in my life. After reflecting on what I've been through since graduating with my worthless history degree, I never realized that I would end up like my parents, a teacher or a Navy sailor. If it helps, some background. What was your second question? No, listen, never worked private sector job. Worked with boys and girls, an avid tutor. Yeah, and you're currently working as a substitute teacher. All right, there you go. I would, go teach until the military calls. Parents aren't rich. No debt, good. Rounding off numbers, 4,000 in savings, another 14 CD, good. Single. Oh, I stroked it. Good. Parents. Cool. Yeah, if you can't get into the Navy, consider another branch. Good. Yeah, no, you're doing fine. I think you're doing way too hard. Go try get into the Navy again. I would not worry about age. Oh, God, I don't know why they say, they prefer to hire younger people. Well, yeah, probably because that's where all the kids are coming from. But I would not think that just because, you put in 10, 15 years in the military, what are you? You'd be in your mid-30s, early 40s, they wouldn't hire you as a teacher. I think they would. So, anyway, yeah, dude, go do them both, but go Navy. Best of luck. Toodles.